Why? The simple factor, plus the hawa, of course, the hawa is one of the main factors here, but one of the simple factors they have, or the excuse they have to separate from others is, this is the hadith and this is how we understand the Islam. Like one of them I met in ICV one day, and he talked about Hamza Yusuf. I don't know if you know Hamza Yusuf. And he said, Hamza Yusuf said to me, or said through some lectures, I don't know if he said it to him directly, because some people, they take it as they hear it from the cassette or in the YouTube, they think it is said it to him. So, but that we call it in al-hadeeth, this is another misleading. But anyhow, he said, if I am today what I was yesterday, if I was yesterday what I am today, I will never change my name. And from his Christian name to the Islamic name. And when they asked him why, he said, because this is bring me more closer to the people. So that description of my understanding make me a sect. Because in the end of the way, who are you to say my understanding? We have to be realistic with ourselves. Yes, you might be a great scholar, which many of these people are not even 1% of a scholar. But let's say you are a scholar. But if you go out of the scholar's understanding, then you are nothing more or less than this described by Al-Quran. مَا لَكُمْ فِي الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِئَتَيْنِ وَاللَّهُ أَرْكَسَهُمْ بِمَا كَسَبُوا أَتُرِيدُونَ أَن تَهْدُوا مَنْ أَضَلَّ اللَّهُ وَمَنْ يُضْلِلِ اللَّهُ فَلَنْ تَجِدَ لَهُ سَبِيلًا. So that what bring first the bride to my heart. I'm saying to their heart, but I say I'm talking about myself. And that bride lead me to think that I can be the leader of myself and my people. And I discard any of the scholars before me, which is the main ingredient of being out of Islam. If I want to remind you, my dear brothers and sisters, if they are there, how Al-Khawarij started. Anyone remember the hadith of Al-Khawarij? No? Huh? So look at that. So how the Khawarij starts, the mentality started from that man who came to the Prophet ﷺ and trying to do himself as he can be an imam beside the Prophet ﷺ. He can be another sheikh. The Prophet there and he's beside him somehow. And he advised the Prophet ﷺ. You hear that? In the appearance, you see it as, what's wrong with that? Someone advising someone. Be just, O Prophet of Allah. This is how Al-Khawarij started. By this word. What he said? Be just. But The Prophet ﷺ saw what behind these words. And he said, woe to you. If I am not just, who will be just? Allah the Almighty trusts me with His message, His revelation, and you don't trust me on these material things? You see where the matter is? The judgmental head praying. There is the dangers of that talk. So the dangerous is not by saying a word he might meant by it something right or something wrong, but the mentality behind that word, which the Prophet ﷺ got so upset about. Even Khalid or Umar said, "Oh Prophet of Allah, let me cut his head." He said, "No, leave him." But you will see from these people, some people, you will belittle yourself and your salah when you see them praying. But they go through al-Islam as the bullet go through the body. Yani they come in and they go out without any effect. The bullet, you don't see anything on it when it come out of your body. You see anything on it? No, it's clean. And this is how they are. Because of their mentality, of the way they think. They are the best. They know what the people doesn't know. They understand what the people doesn't understand. They see what the people doesn't see. Who's these scholars anyhow? We know better than them. I saw one of the show talk in one of the Arab TVs. One Tunisian so-called thinker, he say, "You want now to tell me that Abu Bakr knows better than me? And I have all the technology? Yeah, maybe by this tics, Abu Bakr doesn't know anything about it, radiyallahu anhu. But we are talking about Islam. We are not talking about how the computer runs." But you see the mentality, the same mentality of that man who said to the Prophet, "Be just." You see where this developed to seeing even Abu Bakr. Yani he was ashamed to say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he meant it. Yani who's Muhammad too? Yani, but he can't say that. Otherwise, no one will call him a Muslim. But he said Abu Bakr. Yani, if you see yourself better than Abu Bakr, then in reality you are seeing yourself better than even Jibril. Because who can dare, even the Sahaba themselves, no one dare to say, "I am better than Abu Bakr." How can they say that when the Prophet ﷺ said, the iman of Abu Bakr worthy of the iman of the whole nation, minus me, yani minus the Prophet ﷺ. A man worth the whole nation altogether, and this idiot who really, I believe he cannot read the Quran properly. Maybe he doesn't memorize even 2-3 surahs of the Quran. And he see himself better than Abu Bakr in his knowledge. That's where the problems come and become not only a problem, it become something destroying al-Islam within al-Islam. So look at this hadith. You see the first hadith is the opposite of the second hadith. And the third hadith, if you take it, when he say, the Prophet ﷺ prayed the dhuhr 2 rak'ah, first rak'ah less than the second rak'ah, then the two rak'ah, the other two rak'ah, is half of the second rak'ah. Then the Asr is the half of the other two rak'ah. If I take it that way, yani if you pray al-Fatiha as the first hadith say, in the second two rak'ah, the Prophet ﷺ used to pray al-Fatiha alone. As the English say, only. While only is not in the hadith, but they translate it anyhow, in their understanding, only. So if I take it as I can read half of al-Fatiha in al-Asr time, and this is in the first two rak'ah. In the second two rak'ah, what I read? وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. So we can take that hadith alone. But we understand what he meant by that al-Dhuhr is much longer than al-Asr. And al-Asr is much longer than al-Maghrib. Then al-Isha go between Asr and Maghrib. And it's not that long, it's not that short. You see, in the other hadith, the Prophet ﷺ used to read in al-Maghrib half of al-A'raf. In the other hadith saying 100 ayah of al-A'raf. It's not here, don't look. This hadith here saying he read with a tur.